Well, hi, my name is April Pierce, and I own Shoals Healing Frequencies, located here in Northwest Alabama in the Shoals area. And it has been a pleasure for me to find yet another practitioner that is inspired to bring community service to this area. And so I just kind of wanted everyone to meet her and showcase her today and let her tell you all about her why and what she's here to provide.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Amberly Watt, a certified holistic practitioner. So basically, my whole journey started because of my own health. I had stomach issues since I was a child. I never thought, okay, well, maybe it's something you're eating, or maybe, I just, all I knew was going to the doctor because my mom would just take me to the doctor every single time, and I would try all these different medications, and, nothing ever really worked for me. And so it got to the point back in 2000, and I believe it was 16, that my stomach was hurting so bad I thought my appendix was about to rupture. So I went to the emergency room, basically got dismissed. So I went to three different emergency rooms in one day, and they finally told me that I had a stomach ulcer. Well, no one knew if it was an actual stomach ulcer. I had not had an endoscopy or anything like that. I'd had a simple CAT scan, and you can't see really what's going on inside your gut from a CAT scan. So they put me on a medication called omeprazole.
Yep.
Took that medication for 3 years. It was okay. My symptoms were at bay. And then I had another appointment and I did blood work, and it was so many wacky stuff in there. I'm talking about low carbon dioxide levels, things that I'd never heard of a day in my life. And so then I started,
Let me guess. They didn't seem to think that was an issue.
hmm
Hmm.
correct,
Yep.
correct. And they actually didn't bring it to my attention either. I asked for my lab results and I found it myself. So I just started doing my own research and natural ways to heal a stomach ulcer and get better gut health, things like that. And I came across this herb, which is actually the first time I had ever holistically tried to heal myself. And it was called slippery elm. Slippery elm is something I take every single day, still to this day, and I'm 4 years off of that medication and have not had one single problem. Um, and so it was like a passion for me to help other people because there are so many people who have different things going on, and there's like your body is just trying to communicate with you, and people just don't understand. They're just said, okay, well, you have this disease and you need to try this medicine, or you have to have this surgery, or it's just all over the place. And that before you know it, you have six different doctor's appointments with different specialists in that area.
And
And,
and they don't talk to each other either. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I've been a nurse 26, going on 27 years, and like I know the game. And I'm not here to criticize medicine, but it's just not what I think the public and the community really want anymore. They don't want to not be able to speak to someone if they don't pay their copay. Um,
Yeah.
and they don't want to be treated like, oh, tell me what's wrong, and I'm going to give you the best matching pill that sounds like, without any, sometimes without any lab work and without any test. It's just a go-to straight thing. And you want someone to really listen to you and really kind of deep dive and go to find out the root of that problem. And my biggest thing that I'm trying to bring forward is like, I want to give people not my opinion. I want to give people knowledge of your choices. You know,
Hmm.
like you said, there's more than just being told this is what you're going to have to do. Empowerment, like I want people to know and to do their own research, and like you know your own body and you can tell whether something feels right for you or not, just like you knew something was off. So yeah, it may be the omeprazole. Maybe that's the thing that's going to be right for patient A. But my thing as a nurse is like, I want to empower people to know, hey, there is frequency, there is diet changes, there is holistic herbs, there is yoga, there is lifestyle changes. There is so many things out there. Healing is not a one-stop shop, like it's a modality of things. So, and I can tell you're passionate about educating people as well. And that's what's in your own personal story. That's what's drove you to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly feel like I feel better now than I ever have, And a couple months ago, I was diagnosed with mono. Out of all things, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was like way back when. So obviously, I immediately dove. I have a notebook. I mean, seriously, that is like full as all get out. And so I started trying some different things. I'm not exactly sure what worked. I tried it all, and I was like, okay, this is amazing because it's not going to hurt me, and I know it's not going to hurt me. It's here for a purpose. And so. I think that that's what's really important with the right environment in your body. It can heal itself. You don't have to
Exactly.
have someone telling you you have to do this or you have to do that. You have to make your own lifestyle choices and changes in order for your body to heal itself. And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing that I've learned. It's not just
Yeah.
about eating right or anything like that. Like you have to ground yourself. You have to know who you are as a person and what your body can withstand. And, that is so, so, so important. And that's what I really love to educate about.
Yeah. Well, people don't understand, like when you get an EKG, like that's just a visual representation of your electrical being, your electrical body. Um, if your body's not got charge, it's kind of like trying to make a phone call to your friend with the 1% on your cell phone. Like, your body can't function, like you said, and heal itself like it's meant to do
Yeah.
when you don't have the charge in your body and the energy to do so. So with the environment we live in, the fast processed foods, the stress, work, our bodies are amazing things, but they struggle. And so when
Hmm.
they struggle to keep balance, that's when these imbalances happen and then you have issues come up.
Yeah.
So, first finding out those imbalances, like what's causing me to have low energy and, deep
Hmm.
dive. Um,
Yeah.
and having someone that that's knowledgeable to share this stuff with you, you're going to know. You've got that gut feeling. Someone tells you you need to eat peppermint and jump up 3 times, you're going to have this instant, I call it the face, like uh-uh.
Yeah.
you know mm-mm. But then when something resonates, you get goosebumps, you get full
Hmm.
body chills, you get that, hey.
Yeah.
So I try to get people to like tune into that more. Like your body is talking to you constantly and telling you, yeah, or yeah,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, that's just the way that I even choose to try to heal myself. I can't
Yeah.
sit here and say that I do all these things every day and I do the right thing, but it's paying attention to your body and what's going on and trying to fix that balance before it becomes a big issue.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And to reel back, you said that society is just so fast, and I made it a point when I was on the road the other day going to town that no one has front porches anymore. No one spends time outside anymore because I feel like it's instilled in our brains to that you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you rest, you do it all over. It's this same repetitive pattern that no one has time to spend time with themselves, much less their family and I don't feel like that's healthy for one. But it's like the amount of time that is wasted. I'm not saying that people need to quit their jobs, but I am saying like 30 minutes to an, 30
Nah.
minutes to an hour a day spending time with yourself and really trying to understand who you are and what your body is trying to communicate with you, and that could be positive or negative. It can make a huge difference in your life, and then you can also educate other people as you learn. The amount of people that are on I'm just gonna say it's stupid medicine, just stupid medicine for no reason at all is
And
crazy.
people shouldn't take 30 different drugs.
Yes.
At that point, even doctors will tell you that once you get past a certain number, you're just taking half of them for the side effects of these.
Yep.
And again, we're not on here diagnosis or trying to preach about diagnosing people and medications not to take your medicines, that we're just on here bringing awareness to what Kimberly has. I mean, sorry, I said Kimberly. Amberly has to offer and her services. And so I don't want anyone to feel like we're telling everyone to throw all your medicine in the garbage.
Yeah.
But we're telling people, wake up, do your own self evaluation. If you are completely happy with going to the doctor and taking those 30 pills and paying that pharmacy bill and life is grand, then, everyone's different. We're here to talk to those people that started to feel like this just doesn't resonate with them anymore and they want a more fuller, natural lifestyle. And so I want you to kind of tell people what you've decided to do as far as like what you're bringing to the Shoals area and your services and like what that looks like for someone.
Yeah, so I can work alongside medical doctors. I can communicate with medical doctors. I can receive different lab works. I can't order lab work, but I can help a client request specific labs that I think that they need. And then of course support during lifestyle changes, whether that be for gut health, inflammation, stress reducers, or things like that. I basically help you support your body rather than covering up all the symptoms. That's the best way that I know how to explain it. Because this isn't just about covering up the symptoms, because you have to get to the root cause of something. If you don't, it's never going to go away. You're just going to continue for the rest of your life covering up symptoms. So that's really my main goal. And of course, obviously, no one can just stop their medications without consulting their medical doctor first. And I don't medically diagnose. I don't prescribe medications. I don't do any of that. I'd never say that I treat or cure anything because that's just, I can't. But I can definitely educate and support whomever with whatever lifestyle they're currently living. I can help them gain knowledge into the things that I know and how it can benefit them in the long run and, of course, short term as well.
Okay. So if someone was interested in like coming in, I know you've just recently, what's the name of your business that you just created?
It's called Willow and Remedy.
Okay. Do you mind telling me why you named it that?
So I love willow trees. So obviously it's part of nature and I love nature. I love being outside. I love walking outside barefooted. I even hug trees, as some people think that I'm crazy for doing that. My neighbors are probably like, what is she doing? But I'm even teaching my 1-year-old how to do this, because it's important to start young. Like it's so important. Um, and as far as remedy, I like natural remedies. You know what I mean? That's where remedy basically came from, is because my whole journey started with a natural remedy that literally changed my life. So willow and remedy, nature and homemade remedies. So yeah.
I love that. I actually just recently bought some cream that had willow bark in it.
Mm,
That's its main, thing. And I'm constantly looking for, things that are more natural based than chemical based.
yeah.
And as far as like, the theory behind tree huggers, there is that goes back to that electrical thing we were talking about where there is a transfer of energy.
Mm-hmm.
The tree is energetic just as well as we are. And then it's healing. It
Yeah.
balances the charges in your body. And there's a whole other podcast to nature healing and being out in the woods and grounding and going barefoot and um,
Yeah.
even the quality of water that you drink. You're 70% water. Um, you're mostly water. So if you're drinking what they call dead water, um, you're not getting that electrical charge in your body. That's where you have some people will tell you, to put the Celtic salt, just a little bit in your water to help charge that battery. And I'm sure these are things that you're nodding that you know about too. And there's like these little secrets that no one talks about anymore.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a charged battery, you're totally walking around just like a 1% cell phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're so like we're so used to the way society, the convenience of society, I like to say, because it's everything's so convenient. No one knows how to make their own laundry soap or just the simple things, make their own deodorant, and we're so used to just going to the store and buying this and buying that, and grounding. I really love grounding because when you go into Walmart or CVS or a restaurant and they have all different things going on, it's even in homes these days, Wi-Fi frequencies, LED lights, like all of these things disrupt the frequencies in your body. And a lot of people they just don't have knowledge of that. We've never been taught that. And so I think that that's the reason why people like me and you exist is because we have been educated on this and helping other people come, understand that these are different reasons why they even may be feeling the way that they are. And it's just simple changes, take the
Yeah.
LED bulbs out, replace them with incandescent bulbs or whatever.
Yeah.
But our bodies are not supposed to handle things like that. And um, when I came to the realization that, hey, this is the reason why you are the way that you are, I spent $1,000 to replace every bulb in my house because I'm not, absolutely not. That Wi-Fi gets turned off every single night. I don't sleep with my cell phone in my room. It's just so many different things that can contribute to the way that you feel and your health overall. And I think that's our role is to bring knowledge to that fact.
Yeah. And you're right. Like I have some people tell me, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, well, I'm a frequency practitioner and RIFE practitioner. And well, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, we don't believe in frequencies. And I'm like, you are affected and bathed in frequencies every day.
Yeah.
Whether you believe it or not, no one asks you your permission.
Yeah.
So just as like if you're listening to a song and you get emotional, there are frequencies
Mhm.
embedded into that music that makes your body have a reaction.
Yeah.
You listen to a music that sounds angry, it's because there's frequencies embedded in the music to make you have an emotional response.
Yeah.
So it's not just, the frequencies bother you on a cellular level, on an energetic level. They mess with your natural bio, cage of your body that's meant for protection to keep you healthy and safe. They disrupt that. And once that happens, you are susceptible for disease and illness.
Yep.
That's how it works. If your body's fully charged and it's healthy and it's protected, then it's like you said, going to do the job it's meant to do. It's going to keep itself in balance. It's going to keep itself healed. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, because we do live in an area where there's so much that our body's having to detox,
Yeah.
it can't keep up the job sometimes. And so it needs help, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that you've got to help your body out, like it's doing all it can do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and people don't have to believe in it. You're being affected whether you believe or not.
Yeah.
No one asked you your permission. This is just the way it is. So
Yeah.
when you say
Absolutely.
grounding, like just like you're required to have that grounding pole, into the dirt, into Mother Earth before they hook your electricity to your house, you got to have a place for that extra charge that builds up to go.
Mm-hmm.
You're walking around with all this charge and it's not being released, it's going to build up somewhere in the body. It's going to come through as inflammation. It's going to come through as a stomach ulcer. It's going to come through as anxiety. It's got to go somewhere.
Yep.
So that's kind of the whole when people don't really understand what's the purpose of grounding, why is it important to do that? You're just releasing. It's kind of like when you get with a girlfriend, you're like, let me tell you what my husband done today. I've just got to get it out. He left his shoes on the,
Yeah.
you need to release emotions. You need to release energy. Anything that builds up in the body, if you hold on to it, it's going to create something. And
Yeah.
cancer, stomach ulcer, depression, those things you don't want to create. So
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important too to understand how processed foods and whole foods are totally different. Like a couple years ago, I had my first garden because I was trying to learn how to be 100% dependent upon myself. So I had my first garden, and let me tell you, even the taste is different. The taste in your garden compared to what you get at the grocery stores is 100% like you can't touch it. Um, and it's amazing at how you feel when you cut the caffeine or, even if it's not caffeine altogether, just the sodas, and just drink coffee in the mornings, 1 cup, and then drink water the rest of the day. Like the little bitty thing changes that you make for your body is
It thanks you.
so incredible. It
Yeah.
really does.
And
It
it
really
was
does.
like, going back energetically a little bit with the frequencies, like,
Yes.
people talk about, I've got my grandmother's vegetable soup recipe, but it just doesn't taste the same. And a lot of people don't know, like when you are speaking, when you are with someone, when you are lovingly creating something, you are putting part of your essence into that.
Yeah.
You're imprinting. So, do you really think that tomato got any love while it was growing in a grocery store shelf, like in a wherever it is they mass grow? No, they didn't get any attention. It's kind of like the difference between a kid that was loved by his family versus a kid that wasn't.
Yeah.
You're doing that garden and you're growing things and you're checking on it every day and you're talking to it and you're watering it. You are giving that plant energy
Yeah.
and love. And
Yeah, absolutely.
then you consume it. So you're eating what you put into that.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah, that's very true.
don't understand that. And that's why you can't ever get your food to taste like Granny's, because she
Mhm.
loved her family and
Yeah.
she was putting her love into every meal. And it's not going to taste like the next person's.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
there's just so much that goes into energetics uh,
Yeah, very much, very much.
that
And
we've lost touch on. Like that history and that knowledge went away for a while.
yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, I was more of like, how can I just get suppress my symptoms without taking medicine every single day, and then it's crazy as I was learning through that process, you turn around and you learn so many other things that you've just never been taught before. Like I'd never even heard of frequency, before before I started doing all this or
Had it
um
your whole life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like and getting back to frequencies, like there's so many frequencies, like with the 5G towers and different things that your body is just not supposed to consume. And even I never heard of growing a garden and giving your plants love and things like that. And then when you consume it, it's basically like you are the bearer of your own fruit, basically.
Yeah.
I guess that's the right phrase or whatever. But it makes total sense because even the way that the fruit looks and the health of the fruit or vegetable or whatever, it's just different. And that's just like people too. When our frequencies are higher, you feel different, you're all the things, but when you can tell when someone's vibration is way low because it's like they're really sluggish, like they're negative, they're so many different things.
They're, and it just popped in my mind, like, so many pregnant women get told, oh, you're glowing.
Yeah,
Well, and being a frequency practitioner, I didn't really think about this till now, but you're glowing because your frequency has risen because there's two of you there.
yeah, yeah,
So, that's where that comes from. Like when you raise your vibrations, you're operating from a place of a higher existence and of love. And
yeah.
it does have well, look at all the paintings of Jesus, there's this aura around him, there's this glow. Um,
Hmm.
he was a very high frequency individual. And
Yeah,
there's, like you said, there's just something to it. You can look into a crowd of people and you can see who's thriving and you can see who's
Yes.
not. And
Yes.
no fault of their own, because I'm sure everyone can look outside their window or down the road and find a satellite tower, cell phone tower somewhere that
Yeah.
blinks at night that you can see from your house. So even though we get these wonderful things like the internet and streaming TV and stuff, but we're flooded with all these frequencies um, that can be harmful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it does so much more too. Like I was actually speaking with the guy about him not feeling well and things like that, and he was like, I've tried to eat right. I mean, I'm doing, the things that I've heard I need to do, and I'm like, this is way more than just eating right. Like this is, getting away, and frequencies is a huge one. Getting away and spending time with yourself. But, um, the main thing that I wanted to know about him was his hormone levels, and he's like, I'm not trying to have another child. And I said, your hormones are more than just estrogen and testosterone. You have stress hormones, like you have all different hormones in your body. And these things that we don't even realize, like the blue lights, and they cause your cortisol levels to be extreme, and your stress levels, like they cause stress. And a lot of people don't know that. And so I'm like, sir, like it was funny. We had a whole full-blown conversation. I'm like, sir, I'm not talking about, reproductive hormones. I'm talking about, stress hormones, because obviously you work 12 hours a day and that's very strenuous on the body. It's stressful to have to wake up at this time, be there on this time, take lunch at this time and be home. And, you have all these things that you have to do. And then when you go home, you immediately sit in a recliner and you watch this TV that has this blue light on it, and your house is filled with LED lights, and you're using the microwave like crazy, and it's all these things. You know, you can't, it's like spraying Windex in your house that is full of chemicals that literally sit in the air all day long, every day, and wonder why you feel bad
Yeah.
because you're breathing that in.
Yeah. And I think that everyone is so used to how they feel that they
Yeah.
think somewhat that's normal, even though their bodies are like they have pulled every lever in your body signaling the check engine light,
Yeah.
like your body's screaming for help and it's in survival mode, because that's
Yeah.
what happens when the cortisol's up. You're in survival mode. So
Yep.
all these women that are eating hardly anything, but they still can't lose weight, you're not sleeping, all of those things can go be contributed to that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I do at Shoals Healing Frequencies too, is like I do frequency treatments, I do the sound bed, I do the crystal lights, uh, the crystal healing mat. Everything I do is tuned into getting your body to shift out of survival mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'll be there, they'll be here for a few minutes and you'll hear that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is, because we don't realize that we're running in that gear all the time because of what we're around and what we're exposed to. Um, did you think that's normal? You know,
Yeah. Um, like being around, like not knowing. Is that what you're talking about? Is that normal?
like someone thinks that this is normal and they don't even
Oh,
realize
yeah.
that they're living their bodies in that high cortisol and their bodies in survival mode every day,
Yeah.
and to the point where that becomes their normal and they don't even realize that's being done. Like if someone asks somebody, oh, you think your body's in survival mode right now? I feel fine, no,
Yeah.
it is. Because that's gotten to be our new normal, and like the nervous system reset and somatics and stuff is like huge right now because people are learning that they have been in fight or flight this whole time, and they're having to retrain their body what it is like to be safe again, to go into a
Yeah.
restful, hey, it's okay for you to digest your food because a bear's not chasing us. It's okay. I had two clients come in that were both new, and both of them, their biggest thing that they were so excited of with me was that they went home and had a bowel movement without having to take a pill.
Yeah.
I had to take a pill for the last 15 years to have a bowel movement. And when I left your place, I've had two all by myself. And that was her biggest, like, what did you do to me?
Yeah. And it's like it's your body relaxing and releasing, you know, and it's so important to do, you know, and I feel like the longer that our bodies are tensed up and fight and the fighting mode and think like it's so common that people do get used to that feeling. It's like pain, you know, when people are in pain for so long, they get used to it. It's like they learn to live with it because they're tired of trying all this stuff. So they're like, well, it's there. It's always hurting, but
Yeah. And like, how many people do you know that are men that, like you said, go to the testosterone clinic, that are on a CPAP,
yeah,
that have trouble with a beer belly, you know? But when you get into learning about all this, like, sleep apnea causes high cortisol levels, and
yeah,
high cortisol levels causes weight gain and low testosterone and high blood pressure. So like then you end up on like four medications, but you're still not fixed the situation.
yeah, yeah.
So
And then those medications cause more side effects, which lead to more medications. And,
yeah,
you know, it's crazy. You know, my grandparents are on a million medications, you know, and of course they don't want to have anything to do with this, you know. They're like stuck in their own ways, you know.
wrong generation, you know.
Yeah.
And that's another important thing. Like, I am not here to force my ideas. I know, just as
Yeah.
a frequency practitioner, I'm not here to tell everyone or stand outside with one of those little wavy men and a little dance around with my sign. Like, I don't do that. I can
Yeah.
already tell you don't do that either.
Um,
But you have a very, passionate desire for what it's done for you.
yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm coming from with what I've learned and what it's done for me.
Mm-hmm.
Share that. And there's
Yeah.
people out there that are looking for you.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's what we're here for. Like, I am not here to convince the entire Lauderdale County in Northwest Alabama that I'm the only person they need.
Yeah.
I am here hopefully for a short period of time to touch people's lives, to teach them some things where they don't need me, you know? And
Yeah.
that's the biggest goal. And I'm doing these interviews because I keep finding all these wonderful human beings that want to really, truly just help people. And they want to, I want to share that with them. I want people to be able to find you. I want them to be able to find me. And I want them, them to be able to find their self.
Yeah. 100%. So are you located in Muscle Shoals?
Actually, I'm in the Green Hill community. So I'm here. I have a Killen address, close to Rogers High School. I
Oh,
did not, when I did want to open up a business, I did not want it to be a walk-in strip mall type feel. Like,
yeah.
not to mention, I just really can't afford $2,000 a month to rent a building.
Yeah.
It's very expensive to be and holistic care doesn't pay that well.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, you just can't do that. So those were two things that were dear to my heart. I wanted to have a community healing center, and I also wanted affordability. I want
Yeah.
people to be able to say, because insurance doesn't like to pay for things like this, I wanted it to be comparable to someone, going to get a massage
Yeah.
type of price range. So I decided to buy my own building, and I put it on my property. It's right here where there's a pond, there's ducks, and we're in nature.
Yeah.
I have full intention on expanding in the future, and hopefully down the road end up with a retreat area where I have cabins and certain things that go
Yeah.
on. That's my dream, and but you got to start somewhere. So right now I've got a 3-room treatment center, and I also am open to practitioners that I meet that I feel are aligned with what I'm doing. If
Yeah.
they also need a place to like meet a client face to face, they can use one of my rooms. here. So that's kind of what I'm doing in the community, is building a place where education can happen, where
Yeah.
people come together, where you can see other practitioners. I might talk to a client and then I say, I really know another practitioner I think that really would help you with this. And why don't
Yeah.
you need to go see her. And then, if you still want to come back and see me, then that's fine. But the practitioners I work with, we all kind of do that. We kind of push the people where we think they need to go and who they need to see.
Yeah.
So it's not really about competition. It's about
Right. Right.
it's about
Yeah,
doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it also makes a difference too because the world we live in is nothing but competition, you know. Even at our places of employment, it's like you're constantly competing with your coworkers, and I mean, it should be a space where everyone is learning and everyone is supporting each other and all the things. And it's not like it's who is the biggest and the best of them all, you know. That's kind of how we've been trained to think. And so having an environment like that, you know, I think it's very important for not only your business, but other people's businesses, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's the greediness is not there. And I love that, you know, because greediness never wins. And it's,
Yeah. It doesn't. And it's like, but it also benefits me. Like, this is how I live.
yeah,
And I've always been the black sheep. I've always been different. And I love that. I tell my kids, I'm like, why do you want to be like everybody else? What makes you special if you're just like everybody else? And so I've never really had a problem, stepping outside the box and being my authentic self. And then since I've been healing, it's been even bigger. Like, I really don't care. I'm gonna do me. And if, like I said, if I don't really usually send friend requests, like, if you resonate with what I've got, then, hey, come on. But I went from starting out with 100 friends on Facebook. Now I have over 3,000, and I don't have any of that, stuff, because I don't just click on people like to invite everyone in. I'm only here for the people that are looking for this,
yeah,
open to this. And if you could be my best friend. My husband, it took him a long time before he even got slightly open to the idea of some of this stuff. And that's okay. Like, I accept you as a believer, a non-believer, or a skeptic, or whatever it is. That's
yeah,
that's one thing God blessed me with, was I just really never had a problem with being judgmental.
yeah,
Um, you can talk and walk like you want. It just doesn't affect how I treat you and how I view you. In fact, I always make jokes that I can go to prison and probably come home with best friends, because I don't know, it's just never been an issue with me. Like,
yeah,
you have other people that like scan the crowd and like they instantly know who they're going to speak to and who they're not.
yeah.
That's never been an issue with me.
Right, right. I'm
So
the same way. I'm in the same boat as you because I would love to be everyone's friend, you know? Like I'm not everybody's cup of tea and that's okay, but
yeah,
I mean I love everyone because I feel like everyone brings different things to this world, you know. None of us are the same for a reason, you
yeah,
know? And I love that because I've always been a black sheep too. I've always kind of like stayed to myself, you know, was bullied in school, things like that, but you know, it's never really bothered me because at the end of the day, like my brain was focused on me and that was it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And what I wanted to do
yeah.
in my life.
Like,
So,
everyone in my family, like cousins and stuff, like everybody's been married once and they're still together. And I'm like, I'm over here on husband number 3, like, well, y'all look happy, don't you? Because
yeah,
some things are just meant to be for a season, and I'm okay with that.
yeah,
Um, but like, it's just funny, but that's kind of how I look at this whole thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to rent a shopping center in Florence and like barely speak to my clients as they come in and
yeah,
treatment and walk out. Like, I want it to be, hang on just a minute.
yeah,
Sorry, I just had someone at the door. I want it to be more personal.
yeah,
I want it to be like, you know, first of all, when you book a session with me, like it's never really cookie cutter. It's never like, even if I plan to like put you on the sound bed and do this and like adjust your chakras or whatever like comes through that you need at that session, that's what we do. Like
Right.
everything,
Right.
it's never the same. Um, and by having other practitioners that are here seeing clients too, like I just look at it as a win. First of
Yeah.
all, the client doesn't have to go anywhere else. So if they want to have a Reiki session, or if they want to, have a quantum touch session, or they want to talk to you or whatever,
Yeah.
they can get that in the same building at the same place.
Right.
Like you don't have to go to Florence for make an appointment over here.
Yeah.
It's all in one place. So like that's a benefit to clients, and it's a benefit to me because I can't offer everything through me.
Right.
I can't be a massage therapist and a hypnosis therapist and I mean you can only,
Yeah.
if you do, and I do know people that try to kind of juggle all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like you do a better job doing, minimizing what you're here to do. So the client gets a better experience.
Yeah.
You're not over, exhausted from trying to wear 10 different hats. And everybody gets taken care of. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
that's the way I've chose to do it. And, I don't, at this point, I can't say that it's going to ever be that way forever. But at this point, I don't feel the need to get someone to pay me rent or to pay me commission, as long as we resonate and we're in alignment that, I feel like you're here for the good and
Yeah.
to provide a service without charging an arm and a leg. Um,
Yeah.
then I will, be okay with that person using my building because
Right.
that's what it's ultimately for, is to be used. I don't want it just to sit here for just one or two clients a week. I want it to be used. That's what I put it
Right.
for. And
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's kind of what I'm doing. I guess I'm networking and I'm meeting new holistic people, and they're amazing. And I want to hear their stories, and I want to share it. And I want to build this community, and I want this community to be a healthy, loving one. And
Yes.
we already are. Like
Yes.
the Shoals area is so magical.
It really is. And I feel like everyone loves everyone, and you can even feel the energy from our community. And then you go drive through another town, and it's like, I just want to go back home, like I love being there. And it's an amazing feeling because being able to support a community like that, and I feel like people are more open, in our community rather than other communities, they're just more open to the fact of listening and hearing, and being receptive of different things that I have to say just from speaking about Willow and Remedy. They're just so open. I've talked to so many people in the Shoals area, and it's like, I would love to chat with you. Can we hop on a call? Like all the things. And I just love that. I love that everyone is supportive and, you know, good communication. I love that too, and of course, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. Everything new is scary. It wrecks your nerves a little bit because I remember learning how to drive a car for the first time, it was scary.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of what I like to tell people that come to me and they're skeptical or unsure is, well, what are you currently doing? And if that's not working for you, what's it going to hurt? Like
yeah.
what is trying something else that just doesn't work?
Hmm.
What is that? What is that going to do? Because you're already doing so much that doesn't work. Why not take that chance on something that might work?
Yeah.
And then also taking that knowledge that's going to come with it, because we're going to sit and talk to you and teach you things
Hmm.
to do yourself to also help heal. And
Yeah.
you're not going to get that at most doctors' offices, because not no fault of theirs, because I'm a nurse, I'm not going to criticize my
Yeah.
profession either. There's just no time. Like there's only so much time that you have to talk to that doctor in that visit. And how many times do you leave thinking, oh, I meant to say this, and oh, I meant
Yeah.
to do that. And then there's a whole other month or 3 months before you get back to see that physician. So
Yeah.
I think we all can agree on one thing, that what we're currently doing is not the best situation. So it's not about, for me, replacing what you're currently doing. It's
Yeah.
opening your eyes, your mind to other things, because there's so many things you can do. And
Yeah.
as a nurse, that's what kind of irritates me, is that patients are not taught, or they're not told you have an option. So if I was to have a cancer diagnosis, I would not be told, well, these are the 20 things that you can do.
Yeah.
You get told, here's your appointment. This is the only way.
Yeah.
And for me, I just want people, I want to empower that person to know that you have choices. And I'm not ever going to tell someone not to go do chemo or not to do this or
Yeah.
that. But I want them to know, hey, you can improve what you're putting in your body. You can
Yeah.
drink water that's charged. You can charge not dead water, but alive water that's been charged. You can take homeopathic stuff. You can have frequency treatments. You can have red light, sound therapy. People don't know that, and I want to educate and bring that forward and empower that person.
Yeah, and just like, none of us are the same as in liking the taste of food. Like you may like something that I don't like. It's the same with different treatments and things like that. Your body may be more receptive or vice versa.
Yeah,
It's not really a one size fits all. Like everyone's body is different and there's a reason for that. And so adapting and figuring out what works for this client versus that client, it could be totally different even if they have the same issue you
exactly.
know, and because their body is communicating in the same way, but it could be a different approach or a different support level or everybody's different. So I think that's very important too because I feel like we like our brains only we try to trust the doctors and we try to you know I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, a lot of times. And then I see people sometimes and it's like, I just don't understand. I just don't why it's a one size fits all. Because, people are so different.
Yeah, it fits the time restraint. Like you said, everybody's busy, got things to do.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell my doctor about me having a Reiki session, and like he asked me what it was and how to spell it. Like, they're not trained in holistics.
Right, right.
So they, unless they take it upon themselves to learn about these things, you can go be a doctor all day long and never hear about these other modalities that other countries and that exist. They're not taught. And so that was kind of a big awakening for me as well. It's like it's not necessarily all their fault that
Yeah.
they're uninformed about these modalities and things. So they're not going to recommend something that they don't even know about themselves.
Yeah. 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 It's wild. It's wild at how many different aspects of things that you can do for yourself. And not to say that, like it's important to have doctor's educations on a certain level. I feel like it's important for that. Especially to see what's going on in your blood work and things like that. Like, I feel like it's important for everyone to understand how their body is reacting to certain things or in all the things. And this is not for everybody, and I totally understand that. But just to have the open mind and be um able to listen and to be able to comprehend and then make an educated decision, I think that's very important for everyone to do. That's kind of what I had to do because when I first I was like,
Well,
I
it
was
wasn't
so,
working. It wasn't working for you. That's
yeah,
what started.
yeah,
And so that's kind of where I'm at with right now with my clients too, is like, hey, it's not working. What you're
yeah,
doing is not working. So I'm not telling you not to do this.
yeah,
Let's explore other things.
right,
And if none of those work, then what have you had to lose?
Yeah.
We're not asking for any treatments that come through this building to be something that I feel like is out of anyone's range.
Yeah.
I usually, I would say between 65, 55, 65 and $100. That's going to be your range for a session for just about pretty much anything that comes through here. Um,
Yeah.
you can go get your hair done these days. Last time I got mine done, I was surprised.
Yeah.
You know, massages, nails. I feel like if you can afford those things, then you can afford to have something
Yeah.
like this for yourself. So
Yeah.
tell people kind of like how to get a hold of you and like what's your website? Do you have a website yet?
I do. I just finished it. So the website is just willowandremedy.co, co.site, site. And then the email is admin@willowandremedy.co.site. Um, and so that's basically, you can pretty much get a hold of me either way, through the website or through the email. Um, I'm pretty much available all day, every day. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I do a lot of meetings like this.
Yeah. So you do most of your stuff on Zoom.
Hmm.
Okay. Do you mind me asking what your charge is for like a consult, or what have you come up with your fee?
I'm gonna be honest, I have been doing research. I don't really know. I've been doing research. A lot of people I've been talking to for free at the moment. Just educating and, kind of getting my feet wet, all that stuff. So I haven't even charged not one person yet. So I was, yeah,
Well, I'm gonna say some good and bad about that. So
I don't know.
I have to put some guidelines because I was the same way. And, I can talk all day to someone, but your time is your energy, and you do have a small child. So I would suggest, say, hey, maybe a free 10-minute consult, but then you're going to have to start setting you a consultation like after that or whatever, because, I want you to be successful, and you can't pay your bills and you can't build off of something if you're not getting energy back in return. So I'm going to play me for just a minute and fuss and say energetics and balance is huge. So when you're like us and you want to give, 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 and you're not getting anything back, you're going to be out of balance. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like I tell my clients, if you ask me to pick up your laundry today and I say, yeah, sure, no problem, I can do that for you, but I need you to do something for me. So I don't know if it's like maybe bring me a lunch, buy me a coffee. There needs to be an energetic exchange,
Yeah.
because if
Yeah.
you don't do that, you're going to deplete yourself too.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for us, especially nurses, mothers, and healers, like to ask for that. We're really good at giving, but we're really terrible at receiving. So you're going to have to go ahead
Yeah.
and set that, set your guidelines, because people don't mind giving, but sometimes it's a lot harder to ask for what you're worth. So it's okay
Yeah.
to like get your feet wet, but you've been down a long journey, and I think you deserve, if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to set a price for your time, and I know that it will be a fair price.
Yeah, and that's when you were talking about in between 65 and 100, and my brain literally was like, "Oh, that's wonderful. I finally have like a range that I can maybe start
I mean,
in."
most people that kind of get upset I don't take insurance once they find out that, well, my whole visit's $65. Well, their copay is 40. So, and then usually you end up getting a bill after you have been anyway. So it's about the same thing as going to a physician. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that's fair. Uh, and like I said, I don't want to overcharge people. I want to make this
Uh,
affordable for anyone and to be in anyone's budget, to have that capability of not looking at it like something that only people that have money can go sit in a frequency healing center with
Yeah.
energy that's in the room with a scalar that you can heal your own self.
Yeah.
I don't charge for that. You know,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
in the building. So if you're in the building anytime, you're getting healing, whether you're seeing me or not.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you have to also realize that my inner energy is the the money when you're a healer. that is your currency. So by
Yes.
doing things, you've got to balance that out. And most people don't mind doing that. Even if you
Right.
do $10 consults,
Yeah.
you just got to come up with something. But I look forward to seeing your growth, and I'm going to kind of step off this interview. And I just wanted to hopefully put this out there and have people flooding your inboxes with all of your knowledge that you have to help people.
Of course. Well, I thank you so much for your time. It was good to meet you. I'm so glad that there's someone else that you're the first person that I've met in this space that is kind of where I'm at. So I really love that. And
We're
maybe
all
I'll meet you in person one day.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we're also local. We're seem to be on the same mission, the same path, and all we're wanting to do is to continue to build up this beautiful community that we live in. And the beautiful thing of that is that there's a lot of things I can do over Zoom as well. Like we have the capability of not just helping the people in our community, but reaching other people and
Yeah.
helping them as well.
Yeah. I
Okay.
love that too.
All right. Well, it was nice talking to you.
You too. Have a good day.
All righty.
Bye bye.
Hey,